Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Tyler Hahn. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Charlottesville Police Department. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to be updating you on the unsolved homicide of Dashad Smith, also known as Sage, who disappeared nearly 7 years ago on November 20th, 2012, and also new information about the person of interest in this case, 28-year-old Eric Mcfadden. I'd like to recognize some members of the Charlottesville Police Department that are here with us right now. We have Captain Jim Mooney and also Acting Chief Jim Mooney. Chief Brackney, just so you all know, could not be here due to a previously scheduled event. So Captain Mooney is our acting chief for this event and also for the next few days. And he's also our investigations division commander. Lieutenant Larry Jones, Sergeant Ron Stamens, and Detective Regine Wright of our investigations bureau. Captain Tito Durrett over here on my left, and also on behalf of the city, Mayor Nakia Walker and Vice Mayor Heather Hill. I also like to recognize members of Sage's family here behind me. We have Latasha Dennis and Iana Langston. And finally, we also should have, I don't believe I see her here, but a representative from CPD Pride from the LGBTQ community and also for their support today. And with that, Captain Mooney will start us off with his remarks.
Good morning, thank you. On June 26, 2019, so yesterday, the Charlottesville Police Department filed a missing persons report for 28-year-old Eric Mcfadden at the request of his mother. Mcfadden is a critical person of interest in this unsolved homicide of 19-year-old Dashad Sage Smith, who disappeared on November 20th, 2012. A CPD detective briefly made contact with Mcfadden immediately following Smith's disappearance, but he failed to show up for a scheduled interview with police and reportedly left town. Mcfadden has not been seen or heard from by CPD or even by members of Mcfadden's family since that time. Mcfadden was an acquaintance of Smith, who was last seen in the 500 block of West Main Street on November 20th, 2012 at approximately 6:30 p.m. Mcfadden and Smith were planning to meet that evening, and what happened after they met remains a mystery. Smith vanished without a trace, and detectives continue to believe Mcfadden was the last person to see Smith and that he has information that is vital to this case. Initially, Smith's case was classified as a missing persons case, but the department reclassified the case as a homicide in November of 2016. CPD detectives, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies have spent countless months and hours identifying and scouring through evidence, interviews, and witness statements. Despite these efforts, this case remains unsolved to this day. Mcfadden attended Lincoln University in Oxford, Pennsylvania, from August of 2009 to April of 2011. Detectives believe Mcfadden may have traveled to and could be living in cities such as Baltimore, Maryland, Joppa, Maryland, Lake City, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, New York City, New York, Rochester, New York, and potentially to other unknown locations as far as the West Coast. It has been nearly 7 years since Smith disappeared, but the Charlottesville Police Department is hopeful with the help of the media and continued public interest, we can finally solve this case and bring closure to a family and a community that has expressed anguish over the loss of a family member, a friend, and a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Therefore, we are asking anyone with information about Mcfadden's disappearance or Smith's homicide to contact Detective Regine Wright at 434-977-3381 or Anonymous Crime Stoppers tip line at 434-977-4000. A $10,000 reward is being offered through Crime Stoppers, and an additional $10,000 is being matched by the City of Charlottesville for information leading to an arrest in Smith's case. Thank you.
So we're going to have a couple of statements read. I'm going to introduce Detective Regine Wright, who's one of the lead detectives on this case. She's going to be giving some remarks and also reading some statements from members of the family. No. Iana. I'm sorry, Iana Langston's going to go first. This is Sage's sister. She has a few statements that she's going to be reading on behalf of her mother and herself as well.
Thank you. This is a statement from my mother. My family's life has become an emotional roller coaster. This human being that seems to have been swept under the rug and robbed from us is someone that the moment I heard his heartbeat, I felt a love, and at his birth, I fell in love. My child, Dashad, had the biggest and most magical smile, something I can only see in pictures now. A hug that was always wholehearted, I can only wish to feel again. He is a son, a brother, an uncle, a grandchild, and a friend. He is someone. This is a loss that is different from other losses because there is no closure. It's like you can't finish grieving. It's a continuous, unfixed feeling that hits me at unpredictable times. All of the thoughts that run through my mind, the why, the how, the who, which brings me to the fact that someone knows information. At this time, we are asking you, Eric Mcfadden, to please come into the Charlottesville Police Department to answer any questions that pertains to my son, Dashad LaQuinn Smith, also known as Sage. This has gone on for far too long. Family and friends are endlessly hurting and need answers. I'm asking if anyone knows any information to also contact Charlottesville Police Department. Please use your social media to spread the information about my son's case to help us find justice for Dashad. Now I'll read a personal statement from myself. I would like to say that our hearts are hurting. Our hearts are heavy with pain as we long for answers and justice for our loved one. Dashad, also known as Sage, was not only my older brother, but also a childhood best friend. He had a smile that was so inviting. He always stood up for me, and his beautiful aura always touched others. At 19, he was taken from us without any explanation and hasn't been given any justice even now, 6 long, despairing years later. I was only about 14 when he disappeared from my life, and now at age 20, I reflect on how I'm growing older than he ever did and experiencing things he never was given the opportunity to do because his life was cut short. With every milestone I reach, I wish he was able to be there, getting my license, graduation, scholarship ceremonies, or college move-in day. But he is not. To Eric Mcfadden and anyone with information on my brother Dashad Sage Smith, please contact Charlottesville Police Department. Only the truth will set you free of the burden you carry and set my family free of the pain you have caused them. What is a life of secrets and hiding? The family and community need answers and closure, and Dashad deserves justice. Please share this so that his story can be heard by the nation in hopes of somebody coming forth with information. Thank you.
Okay, and next we will have Detective Regime Wright, who is the lead detective on the Sage Smith case.
Good morning. I'm going to start off by reading a statement by Sage's father, Dean Smith. He couldn't be here this morning, and he provided us a written statement. This is a very depressing, sad, and emotional situation for my family. I believe that there wasn't any equality in the investigation due to these facts. 1, my child is black. 2, my child is transgender. The mission is now to find my child and bring Sage home. Sage, if you can see or hear this, just know we haven't given up on you, nor have we counted you out. Keep fighting, and by the blessings of the Almighty, we will locate you. We love you and we miss you. In the beautiful words of the great Lolita Cookie Smith, hope for Sage. This next statement I'm going to read is a statement from Eric Mcfadden's mother, Denise Mcfadden. My name is Denise Mcfadden. I am Eric's mother. I did not know my son was missing until 2014. His father has never called me to tell me what happened and will not return my attempts to contact him. I do not know why. I was under the assumption that his father had filed a missing person report until I met with detectives 2 weeks ago. I would like Eric to know that if he is out there and needs help, he can call his mom. I am so sorry I was not there, but I am here now. Let's bring an end to this so everyone involved can begin to heal. Please get in contact with me or call the detective so they can contact me. Finally, I would like to make a statement concerning the use of Sage's name and the use of the pronouns that we have used throughout this investigation. During the investigation, I have had the opportunity to speak to several of Sage's family members and close friends. After speaking with them, I understand Sage loved being a woman. Sage's grandmother, Miss Cookie, will be the first one with a lot of pride and a lot of joy to tell you this. I also understand that Sage was comfortable with being a man. Sage was comfortable with being called Sage, and Sage was comfortable with being called Dashad. Sage liked to dress as both a man and a woman. Miss Cookie once told me no matter whether Sage was dressed as a man or a woman, Sage just wanted to look good. Sage wanted to be fly, were her words. Family and friends have expressed that Sage was still exploring gender identity at the time of the disappearance. That being said, CPD will address Sage as Sage and will avoid the use of pronouns. We ask that you have patience with us because we are human and we will make mistakes. Because we are still looking for Sage's body and Sage had not begun to make the transition, there will be many times we will have to use the atomically correct definition as a male. We will also ask that you respect Sage's family members and friends as they were each on their individual walks in their journey with Sage. One of the goals of this press release is to ask the worldwide community for their help in locating Eric Mcfadden so that we may bring closure to Sage and Sage's family. I ask that we focus on uniting in a common goal of using a social media platform to push this message out as far as possible so that we can find Eric Mcfadden. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes it. We'll take any questions y'all might have. Oh, Tasha, I'm so sorry. I forgot. Tasha and Latasha Dennis, Sage's mother, would like to say a few words.
I just wanted to say that I wanted to make sure that we stay focused on the fact that my child is missing and not, again, with the he or she. I felt that Dashad chose to be called whatever you felt comfortable with. And the fact remains that my child is missing. And that, to me, is all that matters. I am in a situation where I cannot grieve, and I just need closure. The only thing that remains in my mind is who did something to him? How did it happen? I also can visualize his face at that moment and knowing that there was no one there that loved him. So I feel like that the main focus just needs to stay on him, getting Eric Mcfadden here so we can ask questions to find out where my son is and what happened to him. And I can't think of anything right now else to say, but I just wanted to stay focused on my son because it's been too long. It's been a real long time. That's all I have to say. Sorry.
All right, and with that, we'll take any of your questions that you may have directed towards Captain Mooney.
So you listed specific locations where Eric Mcfadden might be. How did you arrive at those locations based on tips?
I won't go into specifics, but that's the results of our investigation.
Do you have any evidence, sorry, follow up quick, do you have any evidence that he is still alive?
I won't comment on what our evidence is. We have made a plea today to find Eric Mcfadden. We would like to talk to him. He has information vital to this case. As you can see, we have a family that's hurting, and we hope he sees this and he does the right thing.
Last year you had searched what appeared to be Sage's residence at the time just before Sage went
I'm not going to comment on the specifics of what we found or didn't find.
Can you talk about any interactions you've had with Eric Mcfadden's father?
We've spoken to Eric McFadden's father. The specifics of that I will not go into.
Would you describe him as cooperative?
Yes, I would.
When was the last time that you talked to McFadden's father?
Last one.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago.
Did McFadden's father say why he never reported him missing?
I'm not going to comment on that. We just know that didn't happen until recently. We filed the report yesterday at the request of his mother, and she has every right to do that.
Does McFadden being listed as a missing person open up more investigation possibilities for the police department?
It does. I won't comment on what specifically that is, but yes, it does. We hope that it helps us.
Who are some of the other people that you've talked to in regards to this investigation and trying to pinpoint where Eric McFadden is?
We've worked with other agencies, federal and around the country, based on information that we've developed. Who specifically we talked to, I can't go into that.
Chief, in this case, we've talked a lot about gender, but is it important that the public know that Sage was also known as Dashad, or known as one point? We've in the media been chastised by folks by referring to the Dashad name. Is it important that the Dashad name be out there in the case of this of the murder investigation, that folks know the names that are involved?
I think certainly.
I think it's important that they know, because I think it's important. From what I've learned speaking to several of his friends and family, I don't think Sage would care. I think Sage would want us to care more about finding Sage. I don't think he wants us on social media fighting over whether we're saying Sage or Dashad, because I've spoken to close family and close friends, and they refer to Sage as both. And Sage, as far as I know, did not mind. And I think us getting caught up in names and detracting from the real mission would bother Sage more. Does that answer your question?
And that's an issue we just don't need to focus on. The names are already out there. We need to focus on finding Eric McFadden, getting some answers to questions that haven't been answered to this day.
Is there any other information that you can provide for us about Eric McFadden that could help locate him? Just anything that we can put out there?
We've given you some possible locations, and I think Tyler is going to share the press release that has some photos as well. We would like to get those out as far and wide as we possibly can, in case someone has had an encounter or has seen him recently or within the past 6 years. Yep. Spread it as far as you can.
Is it fair to say that the lack of communication between McFadden's parents is what delayed listing him as a missing person?
I think based on the statement I read before, that's a fair assumption.
Anything else?
Thank you for coming out today. We appreciate your help.
And guys, I realize we do have people watching from different locations. If you need any clarification on the spellings of any names from here, since you're not familiar with this area, just get in contact with me and I'll provide you with that information.
Thank you.